When it comes to sports in Lorain, your station to watch is TV 20, Lorain City Schools Television.
Welcome to 8th grade volleyball from the Lorain Middle School at Southview on the left serving versus the Longfellow 8th graders on the right receiving. And Southview with the first serve of the game, an ace. They lead 1-0. Southview coached by Lindsay Wright. They are 1-1 on the year. And for Longfellow, it is Erica Rivera in her first year. They are 1-1. 2-0 Southview with the early lead. Starting for the Longfellow 8th graders, Nair Chambers, Madeline Tobakash, Natalia Metzger, Natasha Johnson, Arijah Frost, and Keely Kreitzer. Get you the Southview 8th graders momentarily as they lead 2-0. And unable to put it over for the Southview team. That time was Samantha Terrell, makes it 2-1. Along with Samantha Terrell, Nevi Edwards, Amori Romero, Alyssa Myrick, Jayla Brantley, and Amaya Figueroa are starting. And nice serve there. First serve from Arijah Frost is good, and we're tied at 2. You play the best 2 games out of 3. You play to 25. Each team wears blue uniforms. Longfellow serving on the right. Southview receiving on the left. Frost with a great line drive serve. 3-2. Longfellow with the lead. So Arijah Frost serving. That time it is dug out from the middle of the front row, but sent over and out of bounds was Natasha Johnson. And it's 4-2. Frost to serve. Good deep serve, that's dug out. And from the back row, hitting it into the net that time, unable to get it over, was Nevi Edwards. 5-2, Longfellow has gotten 5 straight points. As Arijah Frost continues to serve. Sending it over was Samantha Terrell for Southview, but it goes out of bounds. Point will go to Longfellow. They lead 6-2. Right side of the front row. Hitting it over was Figueroa. Hits it out of bounds. Point to Longfellow at 7-2. Frost continues with the overhand serves. She'll reserve. Gets it over, and that's going to be played from the back row. Nicely done that time from the back row by Edwards. Frost comes up to play it, sends it over. A point for Longfellow. They lead 8-2. 8 consecutive points for Longfellow after falling behind 2-0, and Lindsay Wright with an early timeout for Southview. So Southview led 2-0, but 8 straight points for Longfellow. They lead 8-2, and they take a timeout early in game 1. Gives us an opportunity to let you know, remind you that you're watching Lorain City Schools Television, WLCS TV 20. It's on Spectrum Cable. You can check out to Lorain Schools TV 20 on Facebook for all your entertainment and informational needs. Of course, you can follow us on social media. You follow us on Twitter at LCS_TV 20. Check out that YouTube station, Lorain Schools TV 20. Bob and I both live in Elyria, so we're able to follow it on YouTube. You can like Lorain Schools TV 20 on Facebook and win great prizes. Or Bob, was I not supposed to say where you lived? Was that a big secret? Sorry about that. I live in Elyria. Bob lives parts unknown. From the back row, unable to put it over the net that time was Amori Romero. I know your big fan club, they probably wonder, you might want to stop by and see you. 9-2, Longfellow leads. Frost to serve. Her team up 9-2. wait as Frost is ready to serve her team up 9-2. Let's take a timeout. We have a timeout in game one as Longfellow leads 9-2. We'll be back here watching 8th grade girls volleyball on WLCS TV 20.
Hey Luda, got a sec?
Yeah, what's up?
I'm really worried. One of my friends is living on the street.
I know someone who can help.
Who?
1-800-RUNAWAY.org. They help kids having a rough time at home, in school, or on the street. You can do a live chat on their site. They will help get her to safety.
Thanks, Ludacris.
Trust the National Runaway Switchboard. If you're having a hard time, get online or call to chat now.
After our discussion, it will be Southview to serve. Amaya Figueroa sends it over, and it's dug out there by Ariana Matthews, who just checked in. And playing it ahead of Samantha Terrell. It'll go into the net, and the point will go to Southview. They cut the lead to 9-3. So 9 straight points from Longfellow after falling behind 2-0. And now Figueroa off the top of the net, out of bounds. At a point will go to Longfellow. They lead 10-3. Game one, 8th graders. They go to 25. You play 2 games out of 3. And serving will be Ariana Matthews. From the back row, dug out very nicely that time by Madeline Tobakash. But the point will go to Southview. And it's now 9-5. 9-6. Southview gets another point. Serving for the Southview 8th graders is Samantha Terrell. And she'll hit it wide of the net. Point to Southview. They lead 10-6. Longfellow with the 10-6 lead, and they are serving. They're on the right. Southview on the left on the receiving. Serving for Longfellow and getting their points was Nair Chambers, 11-6. So Nair Chambers serving after several good serves earlier in this game by Arasia Frost. Nair Chambers to serve. Line drive serve, and that's going to be a point for Longfellow, 12-6. Ariana Rodriguez tried to play it from the left side of the front row for Southview, but unable to do so. Line drive serve, nicely done. As that went off Jayla Brantley, 13-6, another point for Longfellow. So the Longfellow 8th graders here in game one jumped out to a 9-2 lead. It's now 13-6. And there's an ace on the serve, beautifully done. Nair Chambers, 14-6. Chambers that time won't get it to the net. Makes it 14-7 off that missed serve. Southview with the point, and they'll serve. And now it's Alyssa Myrick who needs to get some points here to get Southview back into game one. Myrick's first serve is good, and it's going to be an ace over the head of Tobakash and in front of Frost, 14-8. A good serve. Frost comes down to get it, but hits it way long. 14-9. This time is hit to Tobicash. She'll put it over. Again, Tobicash sends it back. Out of the middle of the front row, sending it over that time was Edwards. For Southview back to the Longfellow side. And Tobicash will hit it wide out of bounds. Gives the point to Southview. So Longfellow leads 14-10. Southview creeping back into game one here. They trail 14-10. Frost from the back of the front or back row, I should say, hits it over, and that's a point. As unable to put it in play was Jayla Brantley, and it's 15-10. Longfellow with a point there, and they regain the lead by 5 and get the serve for Coach Erica Rivera's team. Both teams come in with records of 1-1. Natalia Metzger, one of the captains, will serve and hits that one off the net. Point goes to Southview. It's 15-11. Serving will be Jayla Brantley for Southview. Her team trails 15-11. Underhand serve to make sure she gets it over and in play. Does it. From the middle of the front row for Southview. It's sent back to the Longfellow side. Frost from the left side of the front row hits it over and gets the point. And Longfellow leads 16-11. 8th grade girls volleyball from Longfellow Middle School. And Natasha Johnson back to serve. And it'll be Southview's point. And serving and putting that out of bounds. It'll give it to Longfellow. And serving with a lead of 17-12 is Madeline Tobicash. And that point will go to Longfellow. They lead 18-12. Tobicash with the serve from the back row, and unable to get it over is going to be Ariana Rodriguez. That'll make it 19-12. As Longfellow leads here in game one. Tobicash serves it into the net, and that makes it 19-13. They do some repairs to the net. And we should be set to get back underway here with Longfellow up 19-13. It is Southview serving down 6 points. And it's Nevi Edwards going back to serve for the Southview 8th graders. Tobicash sends it over and can't get it over the net, makes it 19-14. Edwards deep serve, and that one's too deep. It's out of bounds. Point to Longfellow. They lead 20-14. And serving will be Frost. She had 8 consecutive serves to take a 2-1 deficit into a 9-2 lead for Longfellow, her first time of serving. That's a line drive serve off the top of the net, an ace, 21-14. Her serving is one of the big differences here in game number 1. So Frost going back to serve, her team 4 points away from game 1. Arasia Frost. High, deep serve that's played by Edwards played ahead, but unable to hit it over was Figueroa. 22-14, Longfellow another point. 3 points away from game one. Deep serve, and that one is an in or out. I guess they're gonna say it's in. 23-14. Right on the line in the back row. Frost and her team 2 points away from a 1-0 lead. That one is sent back. Tobacash from the back row sends it ahead. And it's going to be sent over by Chambers. Battle at the net, and that one will go to Southview. They cut the lead at 23-15. But they need a lot of points here. Down 8 with Longfellow just 2 points away from game one. It'll be Figueroa going back to serve for the 8th graders for Southview. Her serve is wide and out of bounds. We're at game point, 24-15. And serving for game one is Ariana Matthews. Underhand serve, can't get it over the net, 24-16. On the missed serve, Southview stays alive. And it'll be Samantha Terrell serving for the Southview 8th graders. Terrell gets it over, and it's played wide by Nair Chambers, 24-17. But Southview with a long way to go here in game one as we are at game point. Terrell, a good deep serve. Frost will hit it over. Sent back over by the 8th graders of Southview. Dug out there in the middle of the front row from Longfellow. And again, Longfellow hitting it over. That's Natalia Metzger playing at the middle of the front row. And that time, that's going to be the game to Longfellow as it falls on the Southview side, and Longfellow wins game one by the final of 25-17. So Longfellow takes a 1-0 lead. We'll be back with game two. You're watching 8th grade girls volleyball from the Longfellow Middle School on WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools Television.
The Warriors to Work program makes it possible for wounded warriors and their families to build new lives together.
When my dad left, I was like this big, but now I'm like this big. My dad got a master's degree in human resources.
Thanks to Warriors to Work that my dad has a terrific job.
The Wounded Warrior Project helps him by, giving him another start.
Now that my dad's home, I get a lot more hugs.
I'm really proud of him.
Find out more about Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home, the brave.
Game two just getting underway. Longfellow on the left will be serving. Southview on the right will be receiving the serve. And Longfellow with Frost serving in game two takes a 1-0 lead. Ron Polinsky here with you. Bob Schlumbaker doing the camera work. 8th grade girls volleyball. Southview fell to Longfellow in game one, 25-17. And a big part of it was Frost served 8 points in a row after her team trailed 2-1. She put them up 9-2, but after a good serve, that one goes into the net, so we're tied at 1, and now it'll be Southview serving. And serving will be Samantha, it is Nevi Edwards, and the point will go to Southview. They lead 2-1. Again, you play the best 2 games out of 3, play to 25, and you must win by 2 points. In the 7th grade game that we had earlier, Longfellow won the first game. Southview came all the way back to win the next 2. This game, it is Longfellow winning game 1, and we'll have to see what happens from here. But they are going to give that point to Southview. It's 3-1. Serving is Nevi Edwards. Nevi, good deep serve, and that one is going to be played ahead by Nair Chambers, but couldn't pass it to a teammate. A point for Southview. They lead 4-1. Off a nice serve that time by Nevi Edwards, the 8th grader for Southview. Another good line drive serve. That's an ace as it fell between Ariana Matthews and Raja Frost. It's 5-1. When it's hit out of bounds by Matthews, it's 6-1. And we get an early timeout here in game number 2 from Longfellow's coach Erica Rivera. So Coach Rivera wants a timeout early on in game 2. Her team won game 1 25-17, but a good start for Southview's 8th graders in game 2, and they lead it 6-1. We want to remind you that you are watching Lorain City Schools television. It's WLCS TV 20 on Spectrum Cable. You can follow us social media-wise. You can check us out on Twitter at LCS_TV20. You can find Lorain Schools TV 20 on Facebook. That's going to give you all your entertainment and informational needs. And, of course, check out that YouTube station. So many have. And that's Lorain Schools TV 20 on YouTube. Like Lorain Schools TV 20 on Facebook, and you can win some great prizes. So we're just about set to get back underway. It's 6-1, and serving is going to be after the timeout. It's still Nevy Edwards for the Southview 8th graders. They lead 6-1. Frost from the back row can't pass it to a teammate. Hits it into the net, 7-1. As Edwards is in a really good rhythm right now serving. As you see her from the back, she steps up, good overhand serve, but that one is too deep, out of bounds. Point to Longfellow, ends that run, and Southview leads 7-2, and Longfellow will serve, and it's going to be Anaya Smith serving. Anaya Smith steps up, hits it, and is that going to be on the line? No, they say it's out of bounds. They give it to Southview. Boy, that was very close. Referee right on top of it there, saw it all the way, and it's 8-2. Frost from the back row sends it back. Edwards ahead to Myrick, and that will be a point for Longfellow. They can't get it over the net. It's 8-3 Southview. Serving, Natalia Metzger. Metzger to Myrick, back to Metzger. Tobakash sends it back over. And from the middle of the front row, they're able to send it over. A nice job, beautifully done. Nair Chambers gets the point for Longfellow. What a shot by Chambers, it's 8-4. And serving, Natalia Metzger. And she puts it into the net, point for Southview. And the Southview 8th graders lead game 2, 9-4. Game 1 went to Longfellow 25-17, so a Longfellow win in game 2 would end this. And if Southview wins, then we're going to have a third game. Metzger ahead to Tobakash. Tobakash puts it over, right back to Tobakash. And the Southview 8th graders put it over, and that is Myrick. And it's going to be Southview point as it was hit out of bounds, 10-4. Southview with the early lead here in game 2. Line drive serve. That's played, but just hit out of bounds that time. Ariana Matthews for Longfellow got it over the net, but not in bounds, so Southview leads 11-4. And from the back row, unable to hit it ahead to a teammate is Anaya Smith. It's 12-4 Southview in the early command here in game 2. And Smith will come out. Replacing her is Natasha Johnson. Again, serving is Jayla Brantley for Southview. To Frost for Longfellow. Brantley comes up to play, just gets it over the net, and that's another point for Southview. It's 13-4. Serve from the back row, sent ahead. Putting it over was Chambers, Nair Chambers. Now it's played on the right side of the front row by Myrick for Southview, but they can't get it over the net. That's a point for Longfellow. It's 13-5 Southview, but Longfellow has a long way to go here in game number 2, down 13-5. Tobecash with the serve. That one won't get over the net. 14-5. And from the middle of the front row, unable to put it over the net was Ariana Rodriguez, and it's going to be 14-6. Longfellow with the point, but they've got a long way to go to get back in game 2. Nair Chambers serving. Chambers gets it over the net. Frost for Longfellow will put it back over and get the point. 14-7. Chambers serve, doesn't make it over the net. Southview leads 15-7. Serving is Amori Romero. Put into the net, Tobecash and Frost. Can't get it over the net. 16-7, Southview leads. A serve off the top of the net's going to be good. It's an ace. It's 17-7. Amori Romero to serve. Romero underhand serve right on the line. Dug out from the back row that time by Metzger. Played back to Tobecash. She'll pass ahead to Frost. Frost will hit it over, but hits it too far out of bounds. Southview with a commanding 18-7 lead here in game 2. Line drive serve. Metzger saves it. Sent back over by the Longfellow 8th graders. Now play to the right side of the front row. Frost will dig it out. Sent over. Boy, a nice rally here by both teams playing well. Keeping this one alive and unable to get it over the net was Rodriguez. It's 18-8. Longfellow gets the point, but they still trail by 10 here in game 2. And serving is Ariana Matthews. Matthews with the serve, sent to Tobecash. Tobecash sends it over to the Southview side, right back to Longfellow. Back and forth they go. Frost from the right side of the front row. Sent back over, and playing that from the back row will be Tobecash. Sent to the head of Metzger, who gets it over, but out of bounds. Point Southview. They lead 19-8. And coming in is Amaya Figueroa. One of the differences between the 8th graders and the 7th graders that we saw earlier today was in this 8th graders, no real surprise, but a lot longer rallies and more of them. They have, and there was a serving error right there, but less service errors for the 8th graders as opposed to the 7th graders, and you'd expect that. And of course, longer rallies as well. So now it's 19-9. Longfellow trails by 10, and going back to serve to try to get her team back into it is Arasia Frost. Arasia Frost served 8 consecutive points in game 1. And from the back row, Myrick plays it ahead. From the middle of the front row, Terrell will get it over. Back now to Longfellow. And into the net. That's going to be a point for Southview, 20-9. Is putting it into the net that time. Ariana Matthews tried to get over, couldn't do so. Frost passes ahead. Metzger from the middle of the front row hits it over, but just wide out of bounds. 21-9. 4 points away from a third and deciding game. Ace, 22-9 off the nice serve of Nevy Edwards. Nevy Edwards doing a good job serving this game for Southview. Saw her earlier in game 2, and her serves really helped Southview take command of this second game. And they are 3 points away from evening this, and there's another ace, 23-9, 2 points away from a third and deciding game. In the 7th grade game, Southview won 2-1 after falling in the first match. 8th grade game, Longfellow took a 1-0 lead. Southview's 2 points away from tying this up and sending us to a third game. So will we see a same pattern as we did in the 7th graders? Well, time will tell. Hitting that wide out of bounds with Samantha Terrell, so that gives Longfellow a much needed point, but they still trail 23-10, and serving is Natasha Johnson. Johnson with the serve. It's sent out of bounds by Alyssa Myrick, 23-11. Another point on the ace, 23-12. Longfellow battling back here, but they have a long way to go in game 2. As Natasha Johnson serves. Johnson again from the back row. Hitting it over was Figueroa, but the point goes to Longfellow. They cut it to 23-13. 4 consecutive points, but still down 10. A long way to go. Substitutions for the Southview 8th graders coming back in is going to be Ariana Rodriguez. Another ace, 23-14. You wonder if this will come in the category of too little, too late. 5 straight points for Longfellow. And off the net, and that's going to, or off the ceiling, I should say. Another point for Longfellow, 23-15. 6 straight points. Natasha Johnson continues to serve for the Longfellow 8th graders. That left-handed underhand serve that's sent over. Tobacash sends it. They got to get it over on the third hit. It is sent over this time by Nair Chambers. They're able to get it there. And that's going to be a point for the Southview 8th girl. They're going to say that the Southview girl was into the net, gives the point to Longfellow. So Longfellow down 23-16. They'll keep the serve and get the point. That could be a big call in this one if Longfellow can continue to come back. Myrick sends it over. That one's going to be sent wide, and we're at game point. It's 24-16. So 7 straight points made it from 23-9 to 23-16, but now Southview at game point here. And it's sent wide and out of bounds on the serve. Samantha Terrell can't get it over. It's 24-17. Longfellow serving. We're still at game point, and it will be Natalia Metzger trying to serve her team back into it. Metzger serve. Back row. Tobacash sent over on the third hit, that time by Nair Chambers. Played ahead by Myrick for Southview. Right back to Myrick of Southview. She'll send it back over to the Longfellow side. To the back row, and that is going to be, is it in or out? That's rolled in, and that point will go to Longfellow. It's 24-18. You play to 25, you must win by 2. And even if Longfellow doesn't come all the way back to win this game 2, you wonder if the momentum they've gotten from the end of this game, could this carry over into a third game if there is one. In the middle of the front row, Myrick, and it's sent over by Edwards, and that is the game finally. Southview wins at 25-18. So we will have a third game in 8th grade girls volleyball. Southview wins game 2, 25-18. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back with the third and deciding game. You're watching 8th grade girls volleyball on WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools Television.
Can I go to the sleepover?
Lucy, I want you to promise me something. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, no thanks, not my thing.
Mom.
I promise you, your real friends won't care. Deal?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Now we get set to begin game 3 of this 8th grade middle school game between Longfellow, who will be serving the home team. The Longfellow 8th graders taking on the Southview 8th graders, and serving for Longfellow it is Arasia Frost. And she'll serve that out of bounds. And I'll give a point to Southview. They lead 1-0. Coach Erica Rivera, first-year coach of the Longfellow 8th graders at 1-1. And Coach Lindsay Wright for the 8th graders for Southview. Her team is also 1-1. And a nice play at the net. Getting the point is Alyssa Myrick for Southview. And they take a 2-0 lead. Serving, Samantha Terrell. She did a really good job of serving in game 2, and it helped even this match at a game apiece, and it's why we're playing a third game. That one went deep, and it's a point for Longfellow, and they trail now 2-1. And serving for Longfellow is Ariana Matthews. Matthews. And puts it over. A little miscommunication there between two of the Southview players, Jayla Brantley and Ariana Rodriguez. Had a fall between them. We're tied at 2. Middle of the front row, hitting it over is Jayla Brantley. And dug out, but unable to get it over was Rodriguez. Point for Longfellow. They lead 3-2. So Southview got the first 2 points of game 3, but it's been so far Longfellow now with 3 consecutive points to take a 3-2 lead. From the back row, hitting it over is going to be Matthews. Dug out nicely by Metzger, sent back to the Southview side. Myrick will send it over. That's Frost playing it ahead. And Myrick trying to dive forward. The net can't get there off the hit of Brantley. 4-2 Longfellow with the lead. Serve into the net. Point for Southview. It's 4-3 Longfellow. Samantha Terrell to serve. Nice deep serve that Frost is able to get to it right off the top of the net to Myrick, who hits it right to Frost. Her and Myrick hit it at each other, and Myrick that time put it wide out of bounds. Point to Longfellow. They lead 5-3. And now serving will be Nair Chambers for the Longfellow 8th graders. Each team with records of 1-1 early on in this 8th grade season. Chambers hits it into the net on the missed serve. Southview gets the point and the serve. They trail 5-4. And serving for the 8th graders of Southview is Jayla Brantley. Brantley to Frost. Frost gets it over the net. Myrick plays it back from the middle of the front row. Natasha Johnson back over to the Southview side. Tobicash sent it back. Frost now will pass ahead. Johnson to Tobicash, who will hit it over on the third hit. Frost again calls for it. Does a nice job of calling out the balls. Myrick plays it over. Frost calls for it, plays it ahead. Myrick again will hit it over the net. And it is hit out of bounds off the support beam of the referee. Point for Southview. We're tied at 5. In all the years we've been doing junior high volleyball, it's been a while now. This may be the longest that we've ever been here. 2.5 hours between the 2 matches so far, and we're not done. That both teams, both 7th and 8th graders have played really well today, and we've had some long games. That's part of it, and neither one went 2 games. That's another reason. Longfellow with a point, they lead 6-5. And serving will be Natalia Metzger. Metzger. Set. She'll serve, hits it. Over, dug out nicely by Brantley. Now Tobicash for Longfellow back to the Southview side. Myrick goes to the net, can't get there. Point for Longfellow, they lead 7-5. Still early stages of game 3. You played at 25, you must win by 2. And it's Natalia Metzger serving. And into the net that time is Ariana Rodriguez, 8-5. Metzger into the net. Point for Southview. It's 8-6, and Southview will get the serve. Trailing by 2, and going back to serve is going to be Alyssa Myrick. Myrick serve, dug out by Frost. Tobicash to Frost. Frost will get it over the net. Nice job there. Jumping over to get it was Nevi Edwards. And then sent back from the Longfellow side and getting the point. I believe that was Natasha Johnson. Makes it 9-6, and she'll go back to serve. Johnson serve. And there's a point as going back and unable to play that one. Ahead was Samantha Terrell, 10-6 Longfellow. Johnson serves it, middle of the back row, playing it ahead was Jayla Brantley. But can't get it over the net. 11-6, Southview. Taking their, I'm sorry, Longfellow takes the 11-6 lead. Timeout, Southview. So we've got a timeout for Southview here in game 2. Why don't we take a timeout as well? We're in game 3. We're about halfway through. It's Longfellow over Southview's 11-6. We'll be back with more 8th grade girls volleyball on WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools Television. Following the timeout, Natasha Johnson serving for the Longfellow 8th graders. Her team leads 11-6. Timeout called by Southview's coach Lindsay Wright. And Terrell will send it over. And sending it over, but out of bounds that time for Longfellow. Ariana Matthews got it over, but it was out of bounds, so that's a point for Southview. They get the serve, and they trail 11-7. Amori Romero to serve. Myrick sends it back to Longfellow. That is Frost. Her and Myrick, who've seen a lot of action here, continue to hit it back and forth to each other. And hitting it into the net that time was Nevi Edwards from the first hit by Rodriguez. Point for Longfellow. They lead 12-7. Going back to serve for Longfellow, number 6 is Madeline Tobicash. Right hand serve, and she gets it over the net, and it's a point. Is unable to play that inbounds with Samantha Terrell. 13-7. Longfellow leads. Tobicash again, middle of the front row. Sent back over to the Southview side. Myrick sends it over, but wide out of bounds. And Longfellow has doubled up Southview in game 3, 14-7. So Tobicash will continue to serve her team up 14-7. And she'll put that into the net. It gives Southview the point and the serve, and Southview trails 14-8. Southview needs to make a run here if they're going to get back in it. Ariana Rodriguez set to serve, her team down 6. They don't need all 6 points here, but in my opinion, they need to get a couple at least. That miss hit goes out of bounds. It's 14-9. Trailing by 5. Third and deciding game. Game 1 went to Longfellow 25-17. Game 2 to Southview 25-18. And that serve went off of the support beam above the net. And that point will go to Longfellow on the missed serve. They lead 15-9. And now going back to serve is Arasia Frost. Frost with a nice serve. Myrick will play it, but she plays it wide. Point to Longfellow, 16-9. Frost early in game 1 turned the game around early with her serving. Her team trailed 2-1, and she served 8 straight points to make it 9-2. So that's the type of server she is. She has those capabilities. And at that time, the serve goes off the hands of Jayla Brantley and out of bounds, 17-9 Longfellow. Back row, Myrick plays it ahead. Frost comes to get it, but she puts it into the net. And Southview gets the point, and they get the serve back, and they trail 17-10. Going back to serve is Nevi Edwards for the 8th graders of Southview. Serve is wide out of bounds. It's 18-10 Longfellow. Ariana Matthews to serve. Her team up 18-10. Sending it over was Natalia Metzger for Longfellow. Now Frost will play it ahead to Myrick for Southview. Right back to Frost of Longfellow. Metzger sends it over to the Southview side, and it's a point. Makes it 19-10. Serving is Ariana Matthews. Matthews' line drive serve is going to be hit out of bounds, 20-10. Longfellow has doubled up Southview, and they are 5 points away from winning this match 2-1. And again, serving is 8th grader Ariana Matthews for Erica Rivera's team. And from the middle of the front row, playing that over is Jayla Brantley. Back to the Longfellow side. And just off the top of the net, and they're going to get there. Was a double hit there for Southview. Point goes to Longfellow. They lead 21-10. 4 points away from the match. Again, it's still Ariana Matthews serving for Longfellow, underhand right-handed server. Nice serve. That's dug out by Samantha Terrell. Sent over by Nevi Edwards. Back to the Longfellow side. Played back. And Myrick tries to run it down, but she runs out of real estate before it falls down. 22-10. Longfellow commanding lead. 3 points away from the match. And a miss hit off the serve. Unable to play that forward was Ariana Rodriguez. 23-10. Longfellow 2 points away from winning the match 2-1. 8th grade girls volleyball. Line drive serve. Play back. Frost from the back row will send it over to Myrick. Frost again. Sent ahead, played there that time by Edwards. And back is that inbounds or out of bounds. They're going to say it's in. It's match point. 2 games, or I should say match point for Longfellow, up 24-10. So we are at match point. And that serve dug out and at the net. They battle for it. Point goes to Southview, so they hold off 1 match point. It's 24-11. And serving will be Samantha Terrell. Terrell line drive serve. Frost plays it over, and it's dug out from the back row. Rodriguez unable to play it, and Longfellow gets the game, and they win the match, 25-11 in game 3. So 8th grade girls volleyball, Longfellow wins it 2-1. They go to 2-1 on the year, and with the loss, Southview drops to 1-2 on the year. Again, the scores in game 1, it was Longfellow 25-17. Game 2, Southview came back to win 25-18. And in game 3, Longfellow wins it 25-11. Thanks to both coaches, Lindsay Wright of Southview, Erica Rivera of Longfellow. Thanks to Bob Schlumbaker for his dedication and hard camera work today. Appreciate everybody watching. And again, I want to remind you that you've been watching 8th grade girls volleyball on WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools Television.
This has been a production of Lorain City Schools TV 20 WLCS.